Hey everybody, welcome to another Celebrity Big Brother recap. I'm Brian.
I'm Ben.
And Ben, I hear you're not too excited about this one.
Well, I was very excited when I was watching the feeds all today
Hmm.
because this was supposed to be a pretty exciting episode in Eviction, but it turns out that we just get Meta quitting the game,
Yeah,
which is
what happened?
well, according to what they're saying, this is something that developed in the last like 4 or 5 hours, aka since the feeds went down.
Okay,
So
that's
I
good.
have I have no idea. I mean, obviously, like Meta has been trying to quit the game since basically the start,
Mm,
but and he was pushing for himself to get nominated. He was basically saying, "Send me home, or I'm gonna vote Ross out," stuff like that. But it seemed like he was kind of coming back, and that he was like, in for it for to push through for the last week. He was having issues sleeping the past few days. So like he was up at like 3:30 in the morning or something like that a couple of days back because he hasn't been sleeping well. So that's probably the main reason why he's like pushed so hard and he like thinks he can't make it through the last week is just because of his sleeping issues. But my main issue is again going back to the Keisha quit, them letting him get voted out. So there was a whole thing that came out recently as well, where Brandy said in the feeds that she basically leaked in the feeds that there's a part of their contract which says that production could withhold their stipend
mm,
if they walk, and so that's why there's this whole thing where none of them are like actually like leaving the game via anything other than like an eviction.
mm.
And so like I understand from that perspective why Meta wants to be like formally evicted from the game, but I think that's an issue in two places. That's firstly an issue with production not realizing that that's going to just be a loophole in this part of the contract, and they should definitely close that loophole to say like if they're going to threaten uh, the people by withholding their stipend if they walk, then they should also withhold their stipend if they like explicitly ask to be voted out. Because that's exactly the same as walking, and it makes the show worse. Like I would rather Meta have walked on Saturday or whatever, and then actually have an exciting eviction for this episode. They're making the show worse by not letting people quit.
All right, that is fair enough. I think I agree. It definitely was like the air let out of a balloon when it
Yeah,
just like when Omarosa renommed Meta, and then she was like, "Oh yeah, it's because he wants to quit." And it was just like, "Okay, cool, cool. I'm glad we did that veto and everything."
yeah. It's like, oh, yeah, that's. I'm glad that we spent days and days trying to figure out what the which veto was going to be voted on when that didn't matter at all. I'm glad we watched. I'm glad we watched a really exciting neck and neck veto competition when that didn't matter at all. I'm glad that I sat here for 6 hours today, watching and catching up on feeds and like tracing conversations and like lies and
Right.
different kinds of manipulation across the house when that didn't matter at all.
Is there any? Do you find any solace in the fact that now we have a bunch of people who are actually fighting for it?
Uh, no, because the reason that the house was being flipped on its head was because Omarosa was HOH, and now Omarosa can't be HOH. So we
Gotcha.
have a power four that have now reasserted their loyalty to each other, and a final seven, and only two people playing HOH against them.
Yeah, but the two people are James and Mark. You'd think that
Yeah, yeah, but Mark is actively throwing comps.
Mark, you're killing us.
So yeah, we have James. James is the only person, and James is not even going after Marissa and Ross because he did not get the opportunity to see that they were turning on him because of the way this eviction played out. So he thinks he's in a final four with Marissa and Ross when they are not in a final four with them. So he is targeting Brandy.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
it's a mess.
So So basically, Ross and Marissa played themselves out of the game and then got saved by two people quitting.
It's funny how that works.
It could be
literally saving them.
It could be described as frustrating, but
we'll go with funny now because we want to be somewhat positive. I mean, I am still enjoying the show.
Oh yeah, I am too. I think that Ariadna is has the potential to be like one of the like a top 10 Big Brother player of all time if she can close this season out.
Win it. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Who would have thought on a celebrity edition we'd get someone that good?
Yeah. No, she's the only person to have a successful HOH out of 4 HOHs.
So what do you think Steve Harvey would say then?
Well, he would congratulate her for winning Celebrity Big Brother and then hand the check to Brandy.
Right, of course. I'm sorry. There's been a mistake.
Yeah, that's the. Wouldn't it be hilarious if Meta pulls a Topaz and it's like a 5-4 vote, and like Ari loses to Brandy or James or somebody.
Weird.
Yeah.
Meta voted for Shannon. How did you even get this key, Meta? Gave this to him.
Yeah,
I look back and he's just gone. His chair's just spinning.
That whole conversation with Julie was just so uncomfortable and cringy.
He didn't know where he was.
I like how like he gave non sequitur answers too, where she asked him like, "Oh, what changed in your mind? Because it looked like you were fighting hard. What changed in your mind to make you want to quit again?" And he was like, "Man, I had these people wrapped around my fingers. They were doing everything I said." And it's like, well, that didn't really answer the question, Meta, and it wasn't really true. But okay,
it wasn't true. Okay,
I mean, not only
that is a lie.
Not only is that just like delusional grandiose, but like that's not even an answer to the question that she asked.
Hey man, he's doing his best.
Yeah, but I mean, I was so excited earlier today to be able to come on this podcast and talk about such an amazing day of feeds and that leading into like a crazy episode where like everything was live and like nothing was predictable, and then we get this outcome.
Yeah, man. That's what you get for wanting to have nice things.
Yeah, not only was the worst veto option selected because James Maslow's Twitter account is being run by an idiot, but then the person who like is actively being targeted and is like running the house won the veto, and then like we didn't even get the like the bad, like we didn't even get the like the good version of the worst outcome because then Meta was pointlessly evicted because he was quitting.
I liked Brandy's speech.
Yeah, that was great. That was the highlight of the episode.
I mean, the veto was exciting.
Yeah, it was. I thought Omarosa had won because of the way the camera was being.
I did too.
Yeah, I think everyone did. All I saw on Twitter after was no, I thought Omarosa won. What is this?
It's fixed.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand this. The puzzles, were they the same front and back? Like what we were seeing is what they were seeing?
I think it was reversed.
Gotcha.
But like I like both sides had to be correct. So like if one side was correct, the other side would have been correct. But I don't think it was a mirror image. But it was hard to tell because the camera work was really bad.
Right. Yeah, because there was at one point where it just was super off for Ross.
Yeah.
And James was like, "Yeah, that's it."
Yeah. He's like, "No,
yeah, I really don't think it is."
just go hit the button. Like, I mean, I don't think it's it. This is like this piece clearly doesn't match up.
Yeah, it's not like the superpower one where if you press it, it's wrong. They all fall off.
Yeah.
So you can just do it as much as you want.
Yeah. Yeah, but did you catch at the beginning? I thought the even the best part of that veto, in hindsight, was Meta running the wrong way right at the start of the veto competition.
Yeah, I was wondering if he did that on purpose or probably not, right?
I don't think so.
That was just competitiveness.
Yeah, he's a mean competitor.
Yeah, he hates everyone so much he ran away from them.
Right.
So he couldn't go any further, and then he
Yeah.
turned
If
back.
he had won, he would have put Ross right up on the block.
It would have
Yeah.
been great.
Yeah.
He would have put Ross and James. So suck it.
I don't know how he would have done that, but okay.
He knows. Meta world peace, alright?
Yeah. The best part too was also Meta asking Julie, like, while she was explaining the Diamond Power veto, whether he could put himself up.
Yes. And Julie ignoring it.
Yeah.
Just nope, we're not going there.
I mean, that would have at least, like, if the Diamond Power veto was selected, that would have at least been an entertaining way for Meta to quit.
So I guess let's kind of go into what you were talking about a little bit earlier, where you were saying that the Twitter account being run by someone who knows James Maslow but doesn't know Big Brother is actively working against his best interests.
Right. So the clear best veto choice for James was the spotlight veto. Because if you look at this, if you look at the Diamond Power veto, which was like definitely the worst, like anybody but like Omarosa or Meta, or maybe even Meta, like Omarosa or Meta winning that veto, they would have put James right in the block,
Right.
and James would have gone home. And if with the VIP veto, it looks like it would have been Mark and not James going if like the plan had gone through. But that easily could have been James instead of Mark if Omarosa decided that she wanted to kind of go back on her HOH deal with him. With the spotlight veto, it was basically a normal veto, and like Omarosa had Marissa as a backdoor option, so or as a renom option. So what happened is the person running James Maslow's account basically asked his fans, "Oh, which one do you think we should vote for?" And then the poll they put up was like super split because most of James Maslow's fans aren't Big Brother fans since they don't have like the strategy, and so they were like, "Okay, let's do the VIP veto." And everyone who was like a Big Brother fan was like, "No, don't do that." And then they were like, "Okay, it looks like some people want the spotlight veto, so let's split our votes between the VIP veto and the spotlight veto." And that was even worse because what they're basically doing is like making it more likely that the Diamond Power veto, which is definitely the worst, is going to get selected.
Hey,
and
you
then
know what? Just because there's 3.27 million of them doesn't mean they could have affected the vote that much, Ben.
oh yeah, definitely not. That clear when basically the entirety of the online Big Brother fan base like voted 75% for the spotlight veto. Like the James Maslow's fans definitely didn't affect anything.
No, of course not. He's
but
a
yeah,
social
so
media mogul, Ben.
so then in the middle of the night, the person running his Twitter realized that this was idiotic and that the spotlight veto was definitely the best, and so they deleted the old tweets and said vote for the spotlight, and then like all in the replies to that it was like, I already voted for the VIP veto.
So you played yourself.
Yeah. So if Meta hadn't quit and Mark had been evicted, that would have like spiraled James's game, and it would have been entirely due to his incompetent Twitter person.
Well, you know, he'll never know now. He's never gonna watch this video podcast. He's never gonna.
Well, I mean, I'm sure somebody will tell him.
So I guess that leaves us right now 4 versus 3, but the 3 aren't even together.
Yep.
In the house. So is the season fucked?
See, here's the thing, though. The 4 aren't in agreement. When the feeds came back, it seems like Ross and maybe Marissa. Marissa hasn't like super taken like a committed stand. I know it's very hard to believe that Marissa hasn't taken a stand on something. Right. But Ross is pushing for Omarosa to go next, whereas Ari and Brandy are pushing for James to go next.
Right.
So
shocking even that Brandy would want James out.
Well, I mean, James is also going to Ross and telling Ross that voting out Omarosa this week or this round is a waste, and that they should be targeting Brandy and Ari. So Brandy and Ari are actually like super locked in as usual. Yeah. So like it's still a mess. There is a power four in a final seven, but that power four is not in agreement, and it is kind of still messy.
Right. And I just don't see. I don't know. I don't see it working out well for us in terms of entertainment value.
Yeah. No, I mean this was like this one and like the Keisha quit, like they both should have been like really explosive, entertaining episodes, and
Yeah,
they
for every other episode. That's an
yeah.
good.
Yeah. I tweeted out that this is like this is classic BB, but it's blue balls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I guess what else is there to touch on? Veto competition, pretty decently easy puzzle, I thought. 9-piece puzzle. Obviously, it's a little bit more pressure when you're doing it live in front of people. Ross pulls it out.
Yeah, Ross killed it. I mean, he was like, it seemed like he had the best strategy where you kind of like lay it out in front of you first.
Yeah,
it's kind of yeah. Because I mean, like obviously stacking it up is a lot harder. You have to like deal with going from top to bottom rather than just kind of putting pieces where you find them. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like generally the best strategy in any kind of like stacking puzzle in like across all of these shows is to lay it out on the ground.
To do it,
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that was a good call for him, but he still barely, like in a photo finish, beat Omarosa, who, as we all know, is a competition powerhouse. Yeah.
She's basically Victor 2.0. I guess it'd be 4.0, technically.
Yeah.
I don't want to go there.
I mean, I can talk about her on The Apprentice, but it's certainly more interesting than talking about this episode.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. What else is there to talk about? I can go over all of the plans that didn't matter.
Let's talk about Meta World Peace stole Orville.
Yeah, I mean,
took him right out of the house.
Yeah, I don't want to know what like unholy things he's done to Orville, so it's probably better for the house that Orville leaves.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh man. I mean, yeah, I don't really see the need to go into breaking down, like stuff that didn't happen. So I guess, who do you think is the best position to win HOH this week?
Well, they're all speculating that the HOH competition is going to be the slip and slide one.
Oh wow!
So the slip and slide one is usually won by somebody who's like physically fit and who has good balance. I think that Ari and James are probably the go-to options. It's generally
gonna win.
Yeah, it's generally won by like people with lighter frames who are like kind of like nimble on their feet. So
unless you're beast mode cowboy, but you just will yourself to win. And they complain about how much your back hurts for the rest of the week.
Yeah. So yeah, those are. I think it's gonna be Ari or James.
So what happens if James actually wins this HOH?
He's gonna put up Brandy and Ari.
Okay. So in that scenario, do you see Brandy actually going?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that'd be good for James. That'd be actually like really good gameplay for James.
Yeah, I mean, that would kind of it would be actually better for him to take out Ari, but I don't know if he knows that. I think he wants to take out Brandy.
Yeah, well, you can only have someone be mean to you so much.
Yeah, the issue is that like Brandy and Ari are both like equally coming after him. Brandy is just a lot more like open about it.
Right.
But Ross, the thing he needs is for Ross and Marissa to be untied from Brandy and Ari as a pair. and they are a lot more tied down to Ari. Like it's a lot easier for them to discard Brandy, especially after the Hinky vote thing, than it is for them to discard Ari. Especially Marissa is very emotionally connected to Ari. So
I guess we'll see. It's hard to talk about. Are they doing the HOH tonight?
Yes, they're getting ready for it right now.
So hopefully soon we'll find out who's HOH, and then.
I mean, not soon. That competition usually takes hours.
God, I'd hate to do that challenge.
Yeah.
Honestly, the only right move is what Derek did. Take the $5,000 if it's available.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that'll be some kind of other power they're allowed to get, or like maybe a safety or something like that.
Right.
Maybe
they probably won't have money.
Yeah, or maybe the classic thing they've been doing recently, where you can get like a bigger thing by going for the smaller one.
Yeah. That is weird.
That seems to be the right strategy, though.
Right. Yeah. No, definitely, because the thing's significantly bigger.
Yeah.
So you might as well just go for it. But yeah, goodness, there doesn't seem to be much to talk about with that wet fart of a episode.
Right. You could just say like if Mark or James wins, then Brandy and Ari are probably going up. If Ross or Marissa wins, then Mark and Omarosa are probably going up. And if Brandy or Ari wins, then Mark and James are probably going up.
Gotcha. So I guess like we usually do, best position, you'd probably say Ari. Still.
Yeah, I'd probably stick with Ari. She's the least combustible out of the final four alliance. She can go on the. She's possibly could go on the block this round, but it's unlikely that she will go unless Brandy wins the veto. And I don't think that Ross or Marissa can win a jury vote except against each other. And Ross and Marissa are in a good position to go far, but I think they can only win against each other at this point.
Right. And worst position?
Worst position is probably Mark, maybe Omarosa.
Gotcha. All right. Well, do you have anything else you want to add before we finish this shorter version?
Yeah, I'm super sick of Marissa. She's just I can't stand her. After that eviction, when she was standing there and talking about how classy and moralistic that was of them, that was insufferable. That's exactly the kind of person that I just want to see just not exist.
Better or worse than you made it to the final? What is it, 8? This is a huge accomplishment in Big Brother.
I mean, at least that's it's kind of yeah.
Yeah, you can just put it to any situation.
I think people were actually online making fun of Marissa saying that, using that line as a meme.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah. I just don't want to hear Marissa talk anymore, and that's her favorite thing. So,
God, so much shade.
Well, I mean, when you
Mamma Mia, but then I was like, oh wait, no, she's in there.
It's just a wrong musical.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, she could have saved the Keisha quit by actually going through with the Shannon blindside, and then she's taking the lead and virtue signaling on this decision to ruin another episode of Big Brother. So
I think we can all agree that her watching James in the shower is a good move, a big power move.
Yeah, her husband is shook.
Hashtag shook. What's the other one? Shooketh.
Oh God.
At home saying I'm shooketh right now. Well, you gotta start doing some crunches. I don't know.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We're sorry that there wasn't too much to break down. We were hashtag blindsided by Meta World Peace going out, and we're very disappointed.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed in you, Meta, and I'm very disappointed in you, house guests, for again giving a quitter what they want rather than dragging them to the end like Big Brother player.
Let's see. You know what? You guys ruined another episode of Big Brother. This is a huge accomplishment. You're bringing us back to the days of Paul and the BB19 gang.
Yeah. You should be real proud of yourself, Marissa. Real proud of yourself.
Oh boy. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with streaming video games, and then we'll stream again for Big Brother on Friday. Ben, you're streaming again on Thursday. You know, these are our these are all barring any like unexpected circumstances. And we'll be back with more videos as the week goes on.
Alright, sounds good.
So here's to greener pastures.
Here's to no more quitters.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Thanks for